Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? How in the world are you? This is your boy, Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation. And you know what? I'm back in the test kitchen once again, grabbing up my ingredients and trying a new recipe. That is a new episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, coming at you live from the KU Dungeon over in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. So, guys, as I always remind you, Annapolis Junction is not Annapolis. They ain't Naptown. You know, you got to, from here, you got to keep on going 32 east, and then until you get to, 50 east. Boom, there you go. I mean, Annapolis for you. So there's your Annapolis, where I'm from originally, and Annapolis Junction, Maryland. So real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Sean Queen, who is the owner and the proprietor of not only the KU Dungeon, but the whole building itself, which is called Kicked Up Fitness, over in National Business Parkway. Sean's been a great supporter, a great friend. I really do appreciate it. You know, my man, I mean, if you were here right now, I would definitely say, come give me a hug, man. But until then, I'm just going to give you a round of applause because, you deserve that, man. You really deserve that. Guys, I cannot believe that I had to pull a lot of corporate strings and a lot of, yellow tape here and a yellow tape there. But I'm very happy and I'm very proud that I have now brought this episode here with you at this moment. I can't really even call it an episode because, to be honest with you, here's the thing. I'm bringing it back to something that I know. And for all you guys, if you want to know one thing, I can give you a piece of advice. If you want to do something that you know, that's the easy route. And that's probably the best route. And for me, I'm going to exercise that card today because I'm going to talk about some stuff that, I grew up to know that is a part of my culture and my everyday way of life, if you will, which is the martial arts. But, for this particular episode, I couldn't do it alone. I could not do it alone. I had to call in, two fellow black belt brothers from the same school as I did, guys that I looked up to that actually wrote the blueprint for me of, this is what you need to do to get to the black belt road. We already did it. Now we got to push you out of the nest. Now you got to do it. And, again, if it wasn't for these dudes, like them, I don't even know where I am today. You know what I mean? I think that my current rank of third would slowly disintegrate. And all you see is nothing from black to different weird colors to all the way back to the white. To the point where maybe, that's so powerful that the white don't exist. I mean, it's dust in the wind, because all we are is dust in the wind. If you ask me who's saying that, I don't know. I mean, this is the technology age, guys. Google it. Here, Google it. That's all you need to do. So let's go ahead and just go ahead and get this started. Our first guest, you may remember this gentleman because he was a past guest on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, where we were talking a lot of things about, his poetry, his book. He's got a book out, and he will remind us about that book later on in this thing. An accomplished martial artist, third-degree black belt, a grand champion in a traditional martial art tournament for men's black belt sparring. Real cool dude. He's definitely a guy ahead of his time. Lover of all arts, including music, because that is his love. So for the one time, we're bringing back a guest alum, Mr. Omar J. Richter. Oh, what up, big time?
Yo, Kim, how you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to amplify, if you know what I'm saying. So,
thank you, my friend. I feel the same way. I'm fired up.
Yeah. And then this person is probably his first time ever debuting on the podcast. And this guy, I remember him because I started around maybe early 90 to 92. 92, 93. it was 92, 93, because I remember that because there were some people that I knew. Let's see, Chris Phipps. I think at the time maybe he was a blue belt going to a brown belt. Mike Gensler, who like in his small time, great competitor. He was a brown belt at the time. My cousin Ton Vo was actually one of the instructors besides Mr. Arden Smith during that time. And I met this guy at that time. And, the fact that, it's been years and we finally reconnected after all this time, it's great. A guy, again, who helped write a page in the book of, Kim, this is how you get to that road. A good buddy of mine, Mr. Andrew Keating. Andrew, what's going on, man?
How you doing? Thank you for having me on, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, did you ever think, guys, that, years later, in our later adult years, could we have 3 black belts under one school, under one teacher, in this one room at this one exact moment in time?
Not me. I did not. When you hit me up, I remember I was like, man, I'm excited to get back into it because you started talking about it, and I was just like, I was been out for a while, didn't have the passion, but when you brought it back, and then I was like, we can train. I'm like, that sounds actually kind of fun. That sounds actually kind of fun to me. And then we get into it. I love it, especially seeing this knucklehead.
Yeah. I mean, whenever O is around or any of the Richter family members, it's going to be an exciting moment, for sure. And, and the fact that, lots has changed, guys, besides the fact that time, obviously we got a little bit older for some of us. You started a family and you got the next generation. I mean, how does that feel, like knowing that you went from being that young since, when I knew you then, to now at the present state and time?
I don't know. I gotta think about that one. It just, I don't know. It's just the same passion, I guess. Like when I had it as a kid, I got into it because obviously movies and stuff like that. You see Jean-Claude, you seen Steven Seagal, you saw The Karate Kid and stuff like that. You're like, I want to do that. And then it's not like that. But you get the passion for it because it's a great workout. It helps you out in so many other sports and stuff like that. Your quickness, your reaction, your discipline, and everything like that. You lose. I guess I lost that. To speak for myself, I lost that when I went to the teenage years and just trying to do other things and stuff like that in early 20s and then 30s.
Right.
But when you called it back, man, it was like a sleeping dragon. Like you just hear it, and I'm like, man, I remember. Then like memories just pop in your head, like the fun things you doing, like Friday night sparrings, like classes, like. When you're struggling and working out, knowing the guy next to you is doing this set thing, he's like, I'm in pain too. So it's just something like a connection. You're like, all right, dude, we're working out together. We're doing our thing.
Right.
And we're getting better.
Right.
And everything. And you just, I don't know. Like I said, you brought that dragon back, and I'm like, man, I got to get back into this. This is awesome. And then I love it, dude. I mean, like I said, it's a stress reliever. It's everything. It's time away just for us, like me, and just to focus on something, besides everyday life, bills, dinners, and where get these kids to sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the routine. I would add on that because what I'm hearing you say is so true regarding like the camaraderie element, which comes with sports teams. So when you're younger, maybe your parents are getting you involved in a bunch of stuff, and the sports is cool, and you get some of the workout that you spoke of. You get some of the, the guy next to me is working really hard. But the thing that I've learned as I'm working with my children and stuff is I'm not as turned on by the competition concept that's so ingrained with everything we do, like me versus you. And I feel the martial arts is a space where you get that really positive peer pressure. You're not really, I mean, if you happen to be sparring with someone, that's one thing, but for the general time you're in the class, like everyone's on the same team, and they're moving together towards the greatness that you spoke about. And I really like that idea versus everything is so me versus you. So I think that's part of what that, in getting back together, you re-feel that feeling of like, oh yeah, togetherness, the group, the club, Black Belt Club, like what you worked for together as a team. I like that as well.
The fountain of youth.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just tomorrow you're sore.
Yeah, and Kim, when I would like to say real quick before we move too far ahead that I'm extremely grateful for you and
Me too.
just what Andrew said, in resurrecting the dragon, like, you have done something where like longevity equals credibility, you know? You kind of like as a dark horse have stuck with the martial arts to the point where you've achieved the rank that was our main instructor through while we were growing up. You
That's
know,
right.
The third degree,
Third degree
is like nobody. It was third degree. We spoke about this a little bit, how as you move forward, you want to feel that humility, but you also get that sense of, you know, pride that you've accomplished something, you know, is a little bit rare
Right.
within the traditional art. And so for you to have remained, you know, diligent about retaining all of the information, all the details of all the lower belt stuff, as well as keeping your body in physical shape to be able to perform it all.
Yep.
You know, so I want to just give a little quick, you know, back to you. You got the space for us over here at the dungeon. We're here working out and getting it in because of the way you facilitated it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I always try to extend it out to, like, you know, everybody. And, you know, like in terms of, like, you know, within our family. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, let's say, for example, oh, well, you know, I didn't know about, like, this Saturday thing. You know, I won't have any time at all to train. Well, you know, here's my chance to kind of say, hey, if you want to, you know, do it in the evening where it might be a little bit better for most, I do know of a spot, but, you know, just let me know if this is what you really want to do. And if you do want to make that commitment and say, yes, I do want to jump in and train with you for a little bit and go over some stuff and review, then I'll be like, okay, cool, no problem. We'll make it happen. Because there have been times, not like it happened to me. I heard stories where there are people that are in the same exact situation as I. And the 2 or 3 or 4 people that said, hey, I'm going to meet you, say that they do. He goes out of his way to get the space, and the next thing you know, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, like, yeah, get a clue, like, you know, sorry for your luck, but they ain't coming. Yeah. So I try to open it up for everybody in our family, and there's some that have, you know, taken a great advantage of it, and some unfortunately, you know, couldn't catch it at that time, and that's fine. You know, it's, you know, no judgment on them. But that being said, let's take it back a little bit from the beginning. Now, I remember, from our previous conversation when I had you on my podcast show, you were saying that, you know, the way that, you know, if I remember, you were looking for, you know, the AMAC was in the A's of the Yellow Book when you were trying to look for the best martial arts school. And
Is that really how you found it?
Yeah. Go to
When
that
you
episode.
You said Karate Kid, Steven Seagal, you know, right? For me, it was Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, let's keep it real. When you're a kid, you see something like that, you're like, that is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, the element of body control is definitely amazing. You feel the confidence in your own body. And so that's where it changed. Like you said, it was different than what it was in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
It was really more like not as fun and hard work and sweating and, you know, push-ups and
music montage.
yeah, no music, no cool slow motion stuff. But nevertheless, you know, you got that feeling at some point of, oh, I get it. I feel different in my body. Like something changed about me. I got a little bit more aware of it all. So yeah, for sure. But my mom said if I called a karate studio, then I could go.
Yeah.
So I had to look in the phone book. So it was like, A. Here we go. Like, why didn't I go to K for karate or something?
Or M for martial
Like,
arts.
C is too far. How many?
Right, I started at A because I think she thought I really wouldn't do it. I was pretty shy and wasn't the type of person who's just going to make a random phone call. But I actually made the phone call to AMAC, Annapolis Martial Arts Center, and then I, you know, the person on the other line said you get 3 free classes. My mom said that sounds good. Okay, cool. And boy,
There it is.
Man,
I was hooked.
The whole
super
family
hooked.
into it, huh?
Yeah, one by one.
Man, that's awesome. I did not know that story.
Yeah, class 1 was me, class 2 was Rocco, class 3 was Nanda, class 4 was all 4 of us with Shaman. I got my white belt. I came home like, I am the man. I was like, bam, this is it.
Yeah.
All in, dude.
Andrew, you never really, or at least from my perspective, you never really told me how you actually got started.
Like I said, man, I watched the movies, and when I started, I think I was like 10 maybe.
Okay.
So I just remember watching like blood sport or something like that. And I'm jumping on the bed. My mom's just like, stop jumping on the bed. I was like, I want to do this. And she was like, you're not going to do it and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing. She did not believe I would go through it. So I think I bothered her for months, absolutely months, like literally asking for it. And how she found Amex, she might have done the same thing. I don't know. I don't know how she found it. But she brought me in, and this the gentleman was named Bob. He was the one. I guess he did kind of
Bob Berman.
Yes.
Yeah, Bob Berman, Mr.
You
Bob.
guys are actually both before my time,
Yeah. So it'll come together. I mean,
It does.
We're just starting on one part of the line, and we're going to the next. I mean, we'll get the cube together. Right now you just see like a square. So all right. So Bob Berman was on the phone.
Yeah. Then we went in and talked to him, and the first thing Bob said to me, and Bob's a bigger guy.
Oh yeah,
he looked at me. He's just like, "So you're trying to lose weight, aren't you?" Because I was a fat kid when I was sitting there, and I'm like, "Ouch." Then I'm like, you know what? And I saw, and then as soon as he said that, I turned around. You know how the bag, like when you walk into there, the bag was right there.
Yeah.
I think I want to say it was I can't remember who it was really. I want to say it was Arden, but I'm not positive. Somebody just sidekicked the hell out of it, and I'm like, looking at it, I'm like, I want that right there. And I was like, let me do this. And of course, the first class is you're getting your balance.
Yep.
Like you're doing the steps, slow steps, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like this is not like blood sport or anything.
No,
like that.
no.
And then I'm going on, but then it adds up. Like it just like you keep adding something to it. It's like a drip. You're dripping, and then next thing you know, you got a cup full of water and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I got into it, and like I said, I just started loving it. And then what was it, yellow belts? You can start sparring, and then I loved Friday. I was there Friday nights and stuff like that. I was like, all right, let's do it. Even though I remember that I get my butt whooped like almost all the time. I was just like stubborn kid. Because I'm gonna come back and kick somebody. Like that's what I want. Somebody's gonna pay. Like somebody, and then they kick my ass again, and I'm like, oh great.
Oh no. Wow.
Yeah.
Who coming up in the ranks though? What was the best parts of of your process of going through the journey? Whether if it was at green or blue or brown, do you have a best moment before black belt?
My two favorite was definitely yellow. Because when I got that, you got the white, and I was just like, all right, I got that. But when you got a color, I was just like, man, yellow belt's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's how my son is. He's like, he feels
it
really
looks nice.
different
It looks
because
nice.
there's color on the gi.
Yeah.
I've really started my journey now.
Yep.
I was just all white before, and now something like a flower.
Now I got something that pops.
Yeah, exactly. It pops out a little bit. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But then you got your brown. When I got my brown, I'm like, that's because you got to keep that longer because you got first degree, second, and third.
Correct.
So
well, actually,
you got that.
It's actually third, second, and first. Yeah. Because it's in reverse. Before you okay, now I got a first degree black belt.
Yeah.
And then the numbers go up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you had that, and I knew you were gonna have this for a while. So I was just like, all right, man, this is toward kind of not gonna say the end of it, but towards my goal was black belt.
Of course.
Yeah,
that's my goal. I'm right here on the doorsteps and stuff like that, and it was fun. And then I mean, like I said, you get the enjoyment, especially when you're a brown belt. I think for me, I got the enjoyment teaching, showing somebody else something. Because I don't know, what makes you happy? The greatest thing that makes you happy is helping somebody and seeing them enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kids, anybody. You do something good and you can share with somebody, and then you see them get it and have fun with it. It's a great feeling right there. It's awesome.
And by the time you're brown belt, you've done something that you've changed. You had a transformation. You're not quite black belt yet, but
no, but you definitely
see people on their journey. You will get better. Don't just keep doing it. I felt the same way. And there's.
But obviously, because you went through that evolution. Now the white belt started to change color, and you knew that each time it went from the white belt, which is obviously the brightest color. Now we see a little color in the yellow. Now it's starting to go darker, and it's green. Then it's starting to be blue. Then it's starting to be brown, and then we have this a whole time vortex of okay, we probably have to be in the brown belt department for maybe a year and a half or two, depending on how we do.
Yep.
And then then it's okay, now you see that list, read the name of that list. Oh my God, I'm testing for black. What? Better get ready. I'll see you here on Saturday and then Sunday training. I want to see you every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for every class, because now you're our first brown. So I want even sparring classes and form classes. Yeah. what is it? It was like the 5 o'clock to like 6:30 all belt class on Friday before sparring. Oh Lord, wow! You want me to go to all them class? Oh yes, sir. Whew.
It's nothing you can say. You can't say you're tired because if you say you're tired,
No, yeah.
you're
Oh,
doing
my-
push-ups.
you-
I'll make
Oh.
you tired.
Trust me, I've gotten a season's pass to Push Up City. I think like a lot of students probably got that season's pass.
yes, absolutely.
No expiration date required. It is infinite. Let's go.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I'm kind of curious. When you were coming back, were you like on a return from a hiatus when I met you? Because you tested for second degree. Like Nick Goodmuller was like the first person tested for second degree. Not many people had done a degree thing, and then except for Little Amos, he was
Yeah.
already a second degree. And then you were like the next one because for a good amount of time there was only you and Nick that were second degree at all. And the name on the belt thing was like what? And I was telling Kim when we talked last time that you and Little Amos were a little bit like infamous characters. You were maybe black belt class, maybe sparring class.
Right.
Like I didn't see. So I was coming in with my family and I was a younger kid or whatever. And so I'm curious, was your road to the secondary like all the way consistent? Or did you take like a little break after black belt and then you were kind of sort of coming around? Because then after you got second degree, we started doing the demo team all the time.
yeah.
And it was like
I was doing
you
demo
kind of
before that,
sort of
yeah.
were pretty much coming to a bunch of different classes at that point.
I think like that's just when like I was older. Like, when I got my second degree, I was like 15, maybe 14, 13. I was around the same age as your brother. So I
Definitely in the
just,
teens, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other outside influences were affecting that.
Sure.
I can't go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like I had
Well, because I
friends
think you were
and stuff
closer
like
to
that.
18,
Yeah.
weren't you? Because after you got your second degree, then you came with your tat. You were like,
No,
you
I
were
was-
finally able to get your tat.
No, I had my
that was
mom. I was
18.
16 when I got my tat.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I had to have my mom sign off
Okay,
on
nice.
it. So that's when I. That's
Okay,
when
nice.
Yeah.
I know, like,
So-
my memory's like, he got a tattoo. He must have been 18. Okay, no.
yeah,
Mom said it's
just
okay.
the mom's signature. That's it.
Dang, my kids are going to hear this.
Thank
like,
you,
"Whoa,
Tattoo
thanks, Dad,
Gardens
thanks."
of Edgewater. We appreciate it.
All we need is your mom's permission.
Yep, that's it. And she got a tattoo at the same time. So I was just like, all right,
Nice.
cool. Not even that. I met like two of my friends who were there too the same day, same age. I'm like, what? We all
Wow.
got all our parents to sign off for tattoos, and I'm like, wow, that was actually kind of weird.
That.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
But like I
I'm still
said,
tattoo free, but you guys got a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah.
Well, Kim, you got a nice amount of tattoos, it looks like.
Yeah, I got a fair share. I mean, not compared to some other people, it's not much, but I think I got a fair share.
Yo, that fish tattoos reminded me. I forgot to tell you. And then when we came in here, you were jamming the Incubus.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, this is crazy. And you know why? Because you gave me that towel, bro, and I still have it. I'm gonna give it back to you. That you caught at the Incubus show.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time.
I was like, we were in on Incubus, man.
What do you think, like, for you guys, like, coming up in the ranks to even, like, when you first got your first degree black belt, like, what do you think, like, the main challenge was for you? Like, was there a specific obstacle that you were just like, man, what the heck's going on? But I feel like with Omar, it was like, he went to, like, basically every class imaginable. So, like, he was already, like, loading up, like, like Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah, remember I mentioned to you, I think you asked me asked a similar question when we spoke before about this, and it was the speech.
Writing the black
I'm
belt
13
speech.
years old or whatever. It's the speech, like writing a speech, feeling like because I had to do it. No one would help me. My mom wouldn't help me. It was like, you have to do this. So the moves and all that, yeah, by going every single day to all the classes, I was super happy and confident, like, yes, I get to test. But it was like, write a speech. It was just, that was where the anxiety was.
How did you know?
At that point, you know.
Yeah.
But how did you know, like, when you were going to write the speech, or like, let's say your first degree black belt, and you know we have a speech, like, how did you know what to write, or do you even remember what you wrote?
I still have the speech. We were homeschoolers, so I still have all the type of creative writing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Do
a
you
writer.
really?
I'm a writer.
Dude,
yeah.
that's awesome.
So that's, if you want a quick like sidebar for 1 second about
Yeah.
the writing scenario.
Yeah.
I've been a writer for a long time, and it was not until kind of more recently, a couple years ago, that I like just looked at all these journals and notebooks, and I'm like, I've been saving my writing since I was 14, from doing. I'm like, I think I'm a writer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it kind of struck me, just because rhymes, raps, songs, poems, all that type of stuff, but the speech was way before that kind of thing. So in terms of how did I know what to write, and I mentioned I still had the speech, but I knew what to write because it was just like tell your story. So when I started karate, I was this old. It took me this long to get to yellow belt. I just started doing the facts thing and then embellishing a little, and I got through it. And so it was pretty cool.
I just made sure I had to thank my parents because there's been plenty of times I was just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to hear like, kids, I paid for this.
And that's a cool reminder too. We got to hear other black belts do their speech.
Yeah.
And so there was inevitably an awesome addition of thank you. Half the speech was thanking who helped you, who trained you, your friends, your uncle, people who meant something to you in your life. I guess maybe you guys going through a more traditional school experience, there was speeches or written requirements. Previously, you might have been more used to that, and so all of the accolades and proper due respect and edification you give to the people who've helped you wasn't something I was as familiar with. But then I started hearing that, and I was like, okay, cool. I remember I'm going to get to the thank yous part and put my thank yous, but that was always really nice.
I always feel like if it wasn't our parents that we thanked in the speech, it was Mr. Johnson.
Sure,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Of course.
Actually, I remember Ton and Arden. I also made sure I did that because it was cool because when you do the martial arts, anybody higher than you is a teacher to you.
Yeah.
So you had names after names and a name, but Ton would take me to the side. Arden would take me to the side and stuff like that, and they'll literally took me and be like, yo, come do this, come share this. This is what you did. This is what they.
Right.
Amos did the same thing too, but Arden and because Amos would end up starting the next class, and those two would take me back and stuff like that. But I just remember Arden and Ton just taking me down to like the side where the bar was where you stretch towards
yeah. Stretch bar, yeah.
And they will show me like, just go for this, make sure you have this. Especially if you had like a sparring match and stuff like that. Arden was great at that. Arden was just like, man, you got to pull your foot back this way a little bit and then act like you're going to hit with the left, and then the right comes in real quick. He was very like thinking about that. I'm like, damn, really? I never even thought of that. Like, let me see this.
Yeah. Wow. Because we came from the same era. Obviously, my cousin Tonvo and Arden, and Arden Smith, great instructors. But if I had to choose which one that was my favorite between the two, I hate to really cut my family as much as I love Ton, but I had to give it to Arden just because of the fact that I didn't feel as much pressure learning from Arden than I did Ton, even though Ton's my cousin, but he's more like a big brother to me, and just to have him being family, like immediate family, and teaching me, his cousin family, I felt like there was an extra added pressure. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Is he how you learned about? Is he how you came to AMAC?
I actually came to AMAC. Well, I knew he was doing it, but I didn't know about that. Until way later before I finally heard about AMAC. But the real reason is that I used to get beat up a lot when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And one day, I was walking back home in the neighborhood because I lived like one house away from Mr. Johnson. It was like literally Mr. Johnson, my aunt and uncle, who is the parents of Tonvo, and then there was my family. So I'm walking home and I'm getting beat up by these kids, like 4 kids or 5 kids, and little Amos, sees it and he's like, oh no, I got to do something. So he's
a good person to do something.
Yeah, for real, no kidding.
Good person for that.
And and he's doing these things that I'm just like, what the we saw this in the Karate Kid, and maybe like at Kung Fu theater, or later on the Saturdays. What is he doing? And and apparently it was working because he was blocking, he was dodging, he was kicking when he needed to, did like a little bit of an aikido and pushed the person away and so forth. Mm-hmm. And then he helped me up and he was like, hey, I saw you got beat up, are you all right? Then in comes Mr. Johnson driving his white Chevrolet truck, and I'm like, uh-oh, this can't be good. And then he wants to know what happened. And Amos is, he just can't lie. It's like, Dad, Kim got beat up. This is not cool. That's my boy. Can we do something? And then that's when, he drove us all back. And Mr. Johnson's like, Kim, why don't you go ahead and knock on your door because your mom or dad is home, right? Oh, my mom's home. Okay, yeah, go ahead and knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just like, I'm not going to get in trouble, am I, Mr. Johnson? No, you're going to be fine. It ain't your fault. So then, Mom opens the door. She sees me, maybe having like a shiner or it's like starting to form. And she's like, what the hell happened to my child? And then next thing I remember...
Moms.
Yeah. Moms will do that. Baby. Next thing you know, I hear Mr. Johnson said, Kim, Amos, why don't you go over to the backyard? I'm gonna have a word with Kim's mom here. And I'm like, all right, cool. And obviously, what was told to me later on was they had that conversation. Obviously, my mom is a woman that does not know about self-defense or anything like that. That's just not in her interest, nor did she ever came into a situation like that. But a woman like her, she doesn't know what to do, for obvious reasons. And, my dad is like too busy doing, his own thing, being, a working man. There's nobody there to help me. So the story that I remember was told as Mr. Johnson had that talk with my mom for about like an hour. And then I remember him telling me to go ahead and get changed and bring like, shorts and a t-shirt. And, I just thought, okay, maybe we're going to go play some basketball or something. He's taking us somewhere. I thought he was going to take us to Baskin Robbins because we were having a bad day. And next thing we're making that left turn and going down the hill. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? This don't look like an ice cream shop. And all of a sudden, parking. And I look up, and the first thing that I see, karate, like lit up. With thanks to the power of the GE light bulb or something like that. And I'm looking at Amos. I'm like, what is this? Oh, this is the karate school that I go at, and I train in karate because, my dad is a black belt and he owns this. I'm like, stop your lying. He don't, for real? And, soon enough, Mr. Johnson's like, I want you to go inside. Once you actually get into the main hallway, I want you to bow. Go ahead and change into your clothes. When you step out, bow again and wait for me right over here in the corner. I'm like, all right. And that is when the voyage technically started.
That's good.
That's a nice origin story.
That is.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize you were taken under the wing of the instructor's son. That was cool.
That's definitely movie-ish right there.
There you go, for sure.
It really is.
You and
I
Amos
wish
were already friends at school a little bit?
Well,
because you were neighbors or you knew each other?
Well, what happened was we both went to like the same preschool called Kindergarten, which is like literally like I would say almost like, I guess, when you make a left going into West Street, going all the way downtown. So it was like right there where like it used to be a Wawa and now it's some kind of convenience store. We went to the, to that preschool together. But, since he was like literally one house over, I would see him like literally all the time and he would see me and we would hang out and it'd be great. And we started to develop like a real good friendship. We started watching cartoons together, playing basketball and football. It goes deep to the point where I was there, the day after when Brian was born, they brought him back home to the house. That's That's how deep I know that family.
Day one for him, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I remember Amos, when I got in there, I seen him like kick and stuff like that. I'm like, man, he got to reach. Like,
right?
Like, he can go. Like, his leg will go out to like 7'7", and you're like, geez, dude. Like, he hit somebody across the hall. I'm like, man, that's nuts. But I was definitely intimidated of him. I'm like, man, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to train with him. He's gonna destroy me. No. But we started talking, and then the one thing we started talking about, we were both like Fab Five fans, like fans. Yeah. Like the Michigan basketball team. We just started talking about basketball, and then all of a sudden, like, dude, I'm like, this guy's not anything I want. Like, cause you see him, he's kind of like cool, intense. Yeah. You see him kick, you're like, he's not gonna kick. Pow! You're like, ooh, that like it sounds like lightning. You're like, are you kidding me?
Sounds like a gunshot fire.
Yeah, you hear this like the geese just snap, and I'm like, I'm not training with that, no way. But he would get you and stuff like that. But he was a great person. Like I said, it made me so much comfortable when we started talking about basketball or something outside of martial arts, and then obviously bring it back in, because again, we will always eventually end up sparring and then tournaments and stuff like that. And he was just like a great person to train with. Absolutely phenomenal person to train with, really.
When you guys actually, went through it, and you were taught the first few times possibly by Mr. Johnson, did you realize at that point, like, yeah, this is the guy that's going to lead me there to where I want to go?
Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's like, let's go back to like how you said you chose Arden over training and stuff like that. Arden and Amos Johnson Sr., like, they just had you relaxed. Like, this is what you do. Don't get too wild over it. Don't talk negative. Don't have that negative thought in your head, because that's when you get more push-ups when you say anything negative,
right,
and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, they got you that positivity into it, and like, man, you can go after a class, be like, dude, I'm gonna go try for the U.S. karate team, like, even after day one,
right?
Just because you feel like
it's that the afterglow. It's the afterglow
right.
of the session, the same as we feel from our training today. And also, we've talked about before with that ice plunge experience, there's something you feel fired up, like you could take on the world,
Right.
After you come out of a sweet training session, where you push yourself to that limit, maybe you don't think you can. Next thing you know, Mr. Smith's saying another one. You did things you didn't think you could do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Which is cool. Humans pull greatness out of each other. This is part of what we do.
Yeah, they were great at that. Ton was too. I'm not
100%.
like, not trying to leave him out. Ton,
he was done instructing. He had moved through the school. I never met or trained with Tonvo.
He was a pianist, and that's the one thing I liked about him. Like, I thought, like, he detailed.
There was tons of stories about him, obviously, for sure.
Take your finger up, pull your foot this way, like little things you don't think about,
nice.
And then steps with it, and you feel the difference. Like,
sure.
Those little things add up, and I was like, he was always detailed with that one.
I always felt like, because Ton being like very successful in his competition days and tournament, and being, I think if I remember correctly, the very first grand champion for black belt black belt forms in general,
really?
at the hardest tournament of them all in New York, the S. Henry Cho.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the story I heard was there were after he was announced and he got the trophy, a lot of Korean grandmasters came out there and started talking to him in Korean, and and Ton's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know Korean. I'm not Korean. I'm Vietnamese, but I live in the United States. I'm also American, and then like according to what I understand, the grandmaster is like, oh, you kind, congratulations, kind, good job, good technique, stances, everything. Where you train? Annapolis Martial Arts Center, sir. Oh, okay. What master kind you study under, kind? From Master Amos Johnson. And you point over to Mr. Johnson, and there's a whole bunch of Koreans, and they're looking at Mr. Johnson. They're like, uh-oh. And next thing you know, what happened? Ton tried to defend the title. Unfortunately, he fell short. So that was unfortunate. But at least to say that he competed and actually be one of the guys that we know directly, especially in our lineage, that got that accolade, and he was the first one, and he even got there was an article that was written about the tournament in New York, and he was actually shown as him holding the trophy.
That's awesome. Was his trophy, was it one of those that was on the wall? You know how you walked in and they had all the trophies?
Oh, yeah. It was like literally, like, say that this was where, you bow everyone in that little, like, lurch area, and then there's the two restrooms, the main mirrors behind you. Yeah. His statue was, like, probably at the corner, way into the corner.
The tall ones.
The tall ones where the Korean flag was, because... Okay. The Korean flag was on the right and the American flag was on the left. Yeah. Yeah, and it was
I'm
right
gonna
there.
say yes.
Yeah, I think so. I'm closing my eyes and I'm going by memory. It's all in the feel, like I'm entering the door right now. The desk is on my left where the punching bag is, and there's like this fuzzy bulletin board in orange cotton full of dingy loose sparring equipment that probably smelled like 5 years ago.
In case you forgot a piece.
Yeah.
Go grab that. You just sniff it. You're like,
grab a piece.
God dang.
But
Especially a headpiece. Oh.
But just thinking about now, closing my eyes and just thinking about that space, though, it's just there's so much history and so much memories, and so much history that we created there, I miss that nostalgia. I miss those times. I do miss hard, push-ups on the ground, but with that carpet where it was hiding some concrete, but it was developing you to be for us men, a young man, a gentleman, and boys became men, and going through what we did in that room was something special.
Absolutely.
You remember the demo team?
I love
that. Was one of the
demo
highlights of the whole thing was once you got to be a brown belt, you could try out for the demo team.
Yeah,
and you were one of the older kids in the demo team at the time, so that was pretty cool. And when we made the demo team, it was like, yes, we're with the cool kids now. And remember when we did the bus stop, and the one time you hit your head on the beam?
I don't remember that because I hit my head on the beam.
But when I was talking to Sam, because the last time we linked up, in between then and now, Sam had come into town from New York.
Oh, really?
I just showed him the picture of us and was like, we got to train, and he was like, oh, that's really cool. And he was remembering how when you hit your head on the beam doing that off the chair, so you jumped up, and then it was like, even if we were in wide open space, you would always put your hands up, you couldn't stop protecting,
because this was right down the middle. Something everybody said it.
Because you jumped off the chairs and nobody was even thinking where we positioned him in the room. Mr. Smith was like, "Oh no," because he jumped up
And then you had to fit the real thin mattress, and you're like, that doesn't stop anything. Once you land on it, you're like, that hurts.
Yeah, it does hurt.
It hurts.
It does hurt.
Yeah, I remember making up demos was pretty fun.
I loved it.
I was never there for
freelancing with your
I was
skill.
never really. I remember the demo team when I first, I guess came back to the years of white belt to blue belt. I remember that, but when I came back later on in my adult years, around 2000, I guess it was 2002, I think. I don't remember the demo team being there anymore.
Yeah.
There
was a huge wave. There was that wave.
Yeah.
And 25 black belts all at once type thing in the school. Remember, there was just a really strong wave for a little while there. I guess kind of late 90s, early 2000s. And so after that, when some of the children, like you said, Andrew, they hit that young adulthood threshold, 18, 19, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people go off to start doing the college thing, and there was a disbursement of some of a core group, us included, which is super cool that you reunited us a little bit,
I love the demo team because, like I said, back to the movies, you got to do your movie fight
choreography.
Little tiny bit of,
But it was crazy. I never understood this one. They'll be like, all right, come into this school. You go to an elementary school. I'm like, am I supposed to show these kids how to fight or something? Are you trying to encourage that? That's the part I'm trying to understand. I'm like, what are we doing here? I remember for festivals and stuff like that, we do that. And
when we do the Mortal Kombat, you start asking us to bring in music. You guys put in everything was kung fu fighting.
Those cats were fast. Got it.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
I do remember that.
And then eventually it was Mortal Kombat when that movie running across the gymnasium and each other like wild animals.
But dude, you just got the every time you had it, you had the crowd. The crowd would go crazy. Oh, the oohs and ahs. You're like a professional wrestler or something like that.
Yeah.
When we brought the kids here last week, you noticed we were just doing Tochisan Yuxadarion, but that's that 2-person form where it actually looks like, wait, you can kick him, but he knows what you're, and they were like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? They're like, this is super cool.
It is.
Which is awesome to inspire.
But, and the thing about it is they don't realize, that was a 2-person form. That's to actually teach you a little bit of something that is applicable that could possibly happen in that type of setting.
It's also something you have to learn a little bit at this belt, a little bit at this belt.
Correct.
And by the time you're first brown, then you can perform the whole thing.
Yeah.
Control.
So-
You got to have your control, because you're not trying to knock them out. Like, you're trying to put it right here to look like it, but you got to make sure, like, I mean, that's the one thing. You see somebody, like, you do a kick, either their hands are not up, you're like, oh, this might not work out too well. Let me stop a little bit further.
It's like, oh, green belt. Yeah, now you get to learn Yuxadarion 1 and 2. That's awesome. Now, okay, blue belt through second brown. Now you got to know 3 and 4. Oh, my gosh. The round kick, horse kick. Oh, yeah. And then now, your first brown, now we get to add, the Genesis before the Exodus in Yuxadarion. Now it's Tojisan Yuxadarion. I'm like, wait, the what?
You just hit the philosophical martial artist twist on that, man. The Exodus, I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah. I guess it's just, pent up words that I held back for years, man.
Let it flow, brother. Let it flow. Let it flow. I got to say, this is fantastic.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Great.
And the fact that, like for all of us, really, we had a beginning, and we had an end, in the sense that, we got as far as we did, in martial arts. And for some of us, we just don't want to stop. We want to keep going until, like, literally, you have to bury me 6 feet under. That's how serious it is. So, I'm just hoping, like, seriously, like, before I pass on, maybe the, Mother Nature will say, okay, he has an 8th degree black belt or something,
Perhaps you remember Mr. Johnson's statement. He had a nice couple of good quotes. I'm sure we all walked away.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about
each
that.
one teach one.
Each one teach one, yep.
It's a basic, simple principle that the art will never die if each one teaches one.
Absolutely.
This is simple.
He's been around for thousands
so,
of
right,
years.
so he exemplified that to the epitome, because he taught hundreds probably, if not more. But I feel like as a father now, that's a pretty fun part of the reason I've been inspired to reunite with you and try to make sure everything's nice and fresh and tight, so that you can fulfill that subtle obligation as a black belt. Number one obligation, once a black belt, always a black belt, and your attitude about life and your demeanor and all that, and the composure. But then the second part of actually remembering the material and saying, I'm going to teach at least one other person. So in my case, I have 4, so I'm trying to teach all of them. But that's a simple place to start. It feels good.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, once you got to that brown belt and you start teaching other kids, like,
Exactly.
you got a joy out of it. Like, you got, like, even when they fail, you're like, all right, don't chill, dude.
Yeah.
The best way to learn is to fail. Like, you have to get that. And then when you're going to realize what to do and stuff like that, and then you get back into it and stuff like that.
We you know what, this was brought at the last episode that Omar had. We belong to an exclusive club that, we can look at our black belts and there's information sewn on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not many, you see that there are some people that make black belt and it's great, but how many, people do you know that's willing to jump off even the shorter diving board and say, you know what, I want a higher degree. I want to see this challenge, and I'm going to take on this challenge, because, now it's game on. Now the regular season's over. Now we're in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Some people do feel that the black belt is like, I think black belt is a goal, for sure, the goal when you first start.
Right.
But some people are like, because I hit that, now I can be like, I'm done. This is what I was trying to do.
Right.
And then if you move into the desire for a degree, then you're moving into a desire probably to give back. Like you mentioned, to teach to others, to continue to grow and expand and, like, add on to it, but also definitely to continue to, like, be around and participate in that giving back. It's like the next level.
The confidence you get from it, though, like, it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
No, it takes time, brick by brick.
Oh, time, patience. Like I said, you fail, but you get it. And then once you get the first one, I think that's the one thing I remember. I was like, man, I can do the second one. But when I was more scared to get my first one, because I'm like, all right, I did all this and that. But once I got my black belt, my confidence was like, yeah, I will get second, third. If I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's in me. So you just take however I learn is however I learn, and I can do it and stuff like that. So it is it's definitely a confidence to it.
Yeah, black belt. It's a bit of a rare thing.
No, for sure. And
Rare
even
to have a nice, good traditional school. We got lucky. I consider myself
Absolutely.
lucky.
yeah, we were blessed.
You know, that whole A for AMAC is like a fun story, but at the same time, I could have been at any old,
It was fate.
karate
Fate, yeah.
studio with orange belt, yellow belt, purple stripe, yellow stripe, a bunch of testing.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily traditional material, a mix with acrobats and gymnastics. And it's like, wait a minute, we got like, for me, some real deal cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Traditional martial arts that strengthen us in mind, body, and spirit. You know, it's a blessing.
Coming and from Mr. Johnson coming from where he came up under a big name in the martial arts, Ki
Yeah.
Wang Kim.
Yeah.
Who built champions. Champions like Mike Warren, Albert Cheeks,
Marcella Bird.
Marcella Bird. Oh gosh, Lady Bird. Yeah. God rest her soul, man. She was awesome.
She was the best, like, for competitions, because she was very, very, like, loud.
Yeah.
She's very loud, like, she's very intense and stuff like that. So you see her, she'll be, like, looking at her opponent, and she's just like, kick your ass.
That's funny.
And she'll do that even in class. The kid would be like a yellow belt. She's like,
Right.
Well,
Like,
beat the tar off you, boy.
Oh, dude, I hated sparring her. She would spar her. And the first thing to do, she would do that Superman punch.
Oh,
Superman punch right off, and then
Broadway.
right on your chest.
Yeah.
Right on your chest.
I
You know what
never
I'm saying?
sparred her. You know,
She was all like, but
Dude,
if
I
you
always-
want somebody to prepare for a tournament. Like, she will show you the like, make sure when you hit, you scream. But sometimes she'll scream while they're still kicking.
But,
You got to
but
come
here's
back a
the,
little bit.
here's the thing that you don't. Marcella Bird at the time, when she was competing, especially say the New York tournament, the S. Henry Cho tournament, she had for the sparring division, there probably weren't that many women, so they fed her over to the men's division and still giving them the blues.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the lowest that she ever got was probably second place if she didn't get first.
there
or-
wasn't
Yeah.
very many, legends that there was like
Mama
not
Bird,
still
yeah,
there,
she's-
but she was one of the few.
Yeah, I
that
always felt
Mr.
like
Johnson would talk about frequently and be like,
I love it when
there was
she would
this
come into
time
class.
when she did.
because Mr. Johnson.
I loved it when I
Mr.
saw
Johnson
her,
would
'cause
talk
she'll give you a
about-
big hug, and then you're like,
Yeah.
she's gonna hurt
man.
me. She,
Yeah.
it's like hugging death. You're like, something's coming.
The,
Like,
the,
something's-
the
yeah.
new age version of that was Sandy Morris, you know what I mean? She was like, you didn't want to spar John's sister. You're like, oh man.
But-
Sandy's like, you didn't hit me hard enough, John.
Oh, jeez.
Remember? They would go at it like, oh jeez.
I always thought that
she
Mr.
was-
Johnson would talk about.
Mr. Smith would always call him up. Sandy up, John up. You're like, oh, again.
Oh, man.
They're gonna
Family edition.
Go
There
at
you
it.
But if there's two people that Mr. Johnson would have talked a lot about, it was Mike Warren was for one,
Oh, yeah.
because he was the king, of sparring. That everybody knew of Mike Warren, and there was no seat in the world that would say, "I don't know Mike." No, you do know Mike Warren, and he would also talk about Marcella Bird, who, in my opinion, was the queen at what she did.
I can't talk. I can say a million good things about her. She was just somebody in your life.
That's cool that you
Which
were-
but
got to
I just
train with her and stuff.
I didn't know she passed too. And now
Oh.
that's like a big hole because that sucks. Because
Gotcha.
I see her, I picture like walking in and seeing her. She'll be always to the right, and she'll just be like, "Hi, Andrew, how you doing?" Give you the big hug and stuff like that, and then she's just like, "You got to do this. You got to keep that intensity, scream and stuff like that." And but like. I don't know. It was like kind of like a mom thing or whatever. I don't know, but it was awesome. She had the energy. Like, you're in a bad mood, she'll bring you right out of it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. And Mike Warren, like, I try to explain this to people. I'm like, think of Anderson Silva before Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
That's how Mike Warren was.
Mike Warren, yeah.
He's the only person I've ever done. I sparred him.
I'm going to say this for Omar because he's all about basketball. If because like I'll just say it like this: Mike Warren was like Michael Jordan, and everybody else was like probably Magic Johnson or Isaiah Thomas, or Dominique Wilkins. But there was only one Michael Jordan in the realm of martial arts. That was Mike Warren. Because
What was super fun was that he actually was one of those mystical martial artists that
Not on
all of a
screen.
sudden
Yeah,
was
for real,
there
yeah.
at your test.
yeah.
It was like, who's that?
Yeah, who's that guy?
And the whisper goes around, and you realize you're like, no, wait a minute. I thought that was just one of the people that Mr. Johnson talks about. Like, no, he's really here. And he was extremely charismatic and kind, and made us all feel like we were in the presence of movie stars or rock stars, or like
He spoke quietly.
super cool. It was really fun.
But he'll just like, you gotta get this in. Like when you have that, like especially at tournaments, sometimes he'll walk behind you. Like when you're, something happened, a point or whatever, you go back and he walks behind you. You gotta do this, do the X kick when he comes at, and you're like, who the hell's that? Like, yeah, right. Like, look at that. And then you see who it is. You're like, I will. Yeah, no problem. He hit me. I remember I had sparred him one time. He hit me with an axe kick and it came down. I still do not know how I did this. I went up. When he hit me with the axe kick, it's like spring. I'm shooting up, and I'm like, I'm in the air. I'm like, how the hell? And of course, if he wanted to, he would have hit me 3 more times.
Oh yeah,
dude. He just sat there and looked. He was like looking up at me. He was like, how do you get up there? And I'm like, you put me here. Like,
that's so funny.
Was Mike Warren ever at any of your black belt tests, Andrew?
He was at I don't think it was black belt though. I don't. I want to say it was one of my browns. I think so. I don't think he did my black.
Well, he was at your second degree probably, because so was I. I mean, like,
I feel like
honestly, I don't remember.
Like the picture probably, like the picture you have. You look in the background of it, like, you know what I mean.
I remember seeing Chris and all that, and I can't think of her name right now.
Sandy.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Sandy
in the back.
Yeah, the whole gang.
Man,
she was great on demo team too. She always come up with a good one. I remember the one in demo team when Rocco, he had to like jump on me and like do like a wrestling flip and had to throw over.
Oh no!
He was like Mr. Smith was happy to take these little kids and make them throw the bigger kids around. Oh, dude, sure.
It was like
we were joking about that, me and Shaman, because she's full grown now too. But she was like, they always made me have to do the final blow because like, hey, you're the littlest kid, so you gotta
fulfill that role. Yeah,
whack someone on the head, kick them low, something.
Yeah, you gotta show like, man, this works for bigger guys.
So let me ask this question. For you, Andrew, you tested for first degree black belt, and then you tested for second degree black belt. Omar, you've done as much as I have, which is you tested for first, second, and third. So out of your black belt tests that you ever took in life, which one was the one that was like the most meaningful one for you? Like
probably the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the first one. I was always worried about like, because you know how you did the kicks before and they just ran you through the kicks, like you got to be like, do a side kick, back kick, jump kick, horse kick, cat, and be like 1, 2, 1, 8, how to do, who done it. You got to go back and forth and not kick somebody and doing it. She's like, oh my god. And they would do that for like 15, 20 minutes, and you're like, oh,
non-stop.
Like, I'm like, and then you get obviously your gi is now like 10 pounds lighter, or heavier. I mean, and
basically like, all gas, no brakes.
Oh, yeah, and then be like, all right, cool. Now go do either the forms or a keto. No, he'll do a ketos and 1 steps and then forms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the only time you got to break is to put on your equipment to fight. That's it.
Yep.
You know.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Omar?
All 3 of my black belt tests were really significant moments for me. The first one because it's black belt, and for a lot of the reasons that Andrew mentioned. And then for the second one, my brother and I tested at the same time. Ananda had hurt her knee or whatever, so she didn't test. So me and Sam tested for second degree, and that was pretty cool. We had to do, the 3-part break, Savaguan.
Yep.
We'd only seen like 1 or 2 other people do it. Andrew, one of them, to be like, oh my God, if I have to do that, oh man, you gotta do the 3-part. So that was super rad. But then the third degree was exciting because I had continued with the martial arts and the rest of my family had pretty much stopped or whatever, and it was kind of nice to get to another degree, another level. And then it was extremely significant that it was the degree that Mr. Smith was when I started.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, I'm hitting my instructor's degree. And he was testing for 4th degree on the same day. And we were partners.
Yeah,
It was one of those like super intimidated, super honored, exciting, and he kind of ran me ragged a little bit, and that was super powerful for me and my character. And he saw greatness in all of us and pushed us towards it. So that was super awesome. And then
I can understand, where you guys were going with like, saying like, the first degree was like, the one that did it because that's when you actually made the transition into like, hey, I went from I started it, now I'm crossing the finish line and I finished it, you know? So I understand, you know, in that logic, but for the purpose of just, you know, being different for this episode, I want to say like the best one for me, honestly, was recently when I got the 3rd degree. Not that I'm not disrespecting my 1st degree, because that, you know, that just was that was just like a moment that, you know, it was like a message saying you grew up.
It's the longest.
Yeah, it's the longest, and
You
that's
start from white to that.
Yeah.
So that's the longest. So
Right.
That's a journey.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I would not disagree with you on that. The 2nd degree was like, you know, the coming of, like, oh, wow, this is even more work, but, you know, you have a bigger reward because now you're a 2nd degree. And now you have, you know, threading on your black belt, you know, seeing your name, the 2 bars, and then your name in Korean. And, you know, at that point, I felt like, oh, so I went from being a gold member to now a platinum member. This is fantastic. Great. You know, it's awesome. But to say that, you know, for me, the 3rd degree, I felt like that was the best one and so forth, in the sense of like, it wasn't so much of the physical. It was more of like the mental. And it was like, you know, we know you have the physical tools, but are you willing to rise above it, go through that door that says number 3, and see what happens? You know, if you go down that rabbit hole, and just to do what I had to do, you know, and to test and to even show up. You know, busted ankle, but you know, I made sure that I had like an ace bandage around it, because I'm like, you have to bury me in order for me to miss a test. You know, if I'm living and breathing, you know, and I still got a pulse, I'll see you there at 11 o'clock on Saturday, because, you know, I'd be damned if I'm missing a black belt test.
But the thing I liked about it is, like, also, like, Amos chose you for it. Like, he was just like, you put the time in, you got this, I think you're ready.
Yeah.
So he chose you for it. He wasn't putting anybody, like, you don't test unless you are ready. Like, if you don't see it.
Omar and I said the same thing. You know, it's just like there was only a few people that knew whether or not you were qualified and you were ready to get your name on that black belt list. And, you know, and his name is Amos Johnson Jr. You know, you know, second would probably be at the time, would have been like either, you know, Brian Johnson or Arden Smith, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, it's just like we think, you know, this student is ready. We think it's about time to go from, you know, this to this.
I used to get so scared for tests. I hated them.
I was nervous too.
I was always nervous.
Oh
the night
my
before,
goodness.
I always nervous for them.
Yeah.
Because you're in like, especially your black belt in 2nd grade, you're the center stage, like right there.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime that you test higher than a 1st degree, I feel like you're a center stage now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I just remember the nights before, I don't think I slept much for any of the tests. Even all of them. Even though I know I knew my things, I just, like, I don't know. It's just like I guess it more in front of everybody and like not doing it in front of everybody or failing in front of everybody or something like that. But
right.
It's a fake thing in your mind that makes it up, but because you know once you go through it, you know what to do.
Yeah, my yellow belt test, there was Josh Bertrashka. He was testing for black, so I saw a black belt test when I tested for yellow belt, and I just was like, what, all that, you know? He had to do everything he knew, all of it. No breaks, nothing, no water. He went, his toe ripped off. It was bleeding. He went to the bathroom. Mr. Johnson was like, you better not be getting water back there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. I mean, literally 11 years old or whatever. Like, this is really intense.
Wrap the toe up and get out of here.
Yeah, let's go. But then we trained lots. You know, my mom took us there for lots of hours. So, like I said, the speech was kind of the intimidating thing at black belt. There was no speech at any other belt ranks. Little bit of like about the breaking of the boards. But the testing was it was like, yes, it's test day. I was super excited about all the tests.
Really?
Based on, just a lot of familiarity with the material. It was a whole big family ordeal.
I think once I actually got to, you know, 1st degree black belt, when I, you know, tested later on for like a 2nd degree black belt, 3rd degree black belt, I think that's when I started to calm down, you know, because it was like, look, I've already been through this before. I know what I need to do. Let's just get to work. And when it's done, you know, hopefully I reap the immediate reward.
It was always like that. You mean your mind's making things up. It always gets you. It's never as bad as you think it is.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So once I got there, I was always so nervous and stuff like that. But once you start, it's just like muscle memory.
We've had this conversation now, and we're talking about the martial arts and its benefits, and we've mentioned a lot of the physical elements, but what you're talking about now is like, it's the whole, what it really is all about is the way that it's a game changer for the person inside of themselves.
Right.
Your self-talk,
Right.
your feeling of esteem, so like the test takes you into that, and you get all of these components for your personal development in the martial arts.
Oh, yeah.
You get that little bit of peer pressure, you get that moment of a feeling of a test, you
Right.
get the reward,
Right.
because you didn't get your belt the day you test.
No,
You gotta wait.
One day, yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
even know.
Of course,
and then
Sunday's always there.
You get it later. You're like, oh man, it's so cool. And
But when they call it, oh man, I just love to end the class. You'd be like the first class just so you can get the belt. Like you'd be like, oh wait, I just got my 2nd degree belt. I want it right now. Like, be all white belt class. So
Oh man.
you just want to hurry up and get it. When they call your name,
Yeah.
you saw them when they walk back to the office and come back and they stuffed it in their shirt, gi, and that's when you're like, all right, dude, this is it.
This is the one.
And then I remember Arden used to always mess up, or not mess up, did it on purpose, but he'd be like, not call your name, and you're just like, hold on, what? Like, what's going on? Just kidding, come here. You're like, okay, thank you.
Oh man.
yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. Now that obviously we're a little bit older, we're a little bit wiser, we have a little bit more knowledge under our belt. There's definitely people now that are trying to follow the footsteps of what we did. You know what I mean? Just like from this perspective right now. I mean, Andrew, you basically started before Omar and I, so you kind of wrote like some stuff for us to kind of follow. And before I even came back, permanently, it was like, okay, Andrew and now Omar is kind of like paving the the way for me. Like if I want to be like those dudes, I gotta take that same path that they walked on, because there's no way in the world, I could try to fly if I wanted to, if I had like my own super cape, or if I had Super Saiyan powers, but no, in the real world, okay, you walk that path, now you got to go ahead and do it on your own. Here's a map, good luck. We already been through that. Now it's time for you to go through that. I definitely felt like at that point when I was going through that, I was growing up quick. I kind of had to. It's like, the things that I that I need to know now, I need to apply that now.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel like I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about what would happen if I never went through that rabbit hole to test for black belt.
There's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point to talk about it. You did it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and go ahead.
yeah, I would say a lot of times you just trust the process. Just trust the process. When you, especially the people coming up now, it's like, it's a lot. And it's not, dude. You're gonna slip. You're gonna fall. Great, do it. Then keep going. Don't let it stop you. And like again, once you get it, like there is a confidence. You have succeeded on something. It's not. I mean, yes, there's a lot of karate studios and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out there that can say it, but I'm just saying, for this, to me, one of the classic, like, you're going through a lot of shit. Like, they're gonna not make it easy for you.
Yeah.
But once you go through it, you're like, holy shit, I'm way better of a person than after that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand the people lower than you understand people higher than you, your equals. You understand all that stuff. So just trust the process, because you're going to get through it. They're not going to, like, however long it takes you, you're going to get through it.
Yeah. Well, let me build on to this. Let me put even more of a layer to this question. Let's say that, people from our school, the next generation, they're in this room right now, right? And they could be like, what piece of advice can you give me right now in order to, go through that black belt route and to eventually earn it? Like, what's your piece of advice? What's the secret sauce here?
Patience and training develops character.
Oh,
Inye Suyong Inkyuk.
That is true.
that's That's
Good job.
Yo,
Had to hit
my
him with
guys,
that one.
My guys, man.
That was good.
Because
That
it's
was-
full circle, man. It's full circle, and I love also the mention of the sense of equality. That's part of what the white gi, the white uniform, and the white belt. That's where you begin. Neutral, no color yet on the palette. That means you're open to suggestions, and also there's no age, gender, color, creed. There's no differentiation. You're a white belt, you're a white belt, yellow belt, you're a yellow belt.
Yeah.
So if you're a young person and you achieve yellow or green or something, and then a person who's older than you comes in, they're a beginner, you get to start to teach them even though you're younger, and there's like a beautiful built-in, structure, respect, just a lot of qualities that I think, then it circles back around, and then you're an adult, you're not in a dojang doing cool kick moves, but what you really got from the martial arts lingers and stays with you through
Yeah, forever.
moving through your
Even
life.
if you haven't done it for years.
Decision-making skills, reflexes.
Like, that's the
critical
part I'm in right now. I haven't done some of this stuff in years, but it comes back, and you just. I remember learning.
I love that stored memory in the body when you start feeling like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you know
remember
the
muscle
next
memory.
Move.
Yeah.
You know the next move. You're like, oh man.
But no, lately though, Andrew, you've been making some strides, man, and you went from okay, I do remember this, to now we're reviewing Jinto with you.
Yeah, man.
the
we
first
went
black
white
belt
all the way
form.
to black belt today. It was
Yeah,
kicking.
it was cool.
We were
Yeah.
getting it
Well, I'm
in.
glad. I'm happy for that.
And I
Trust
definitely
the
got
process.
I definitely say
100%.
even we were going through we have gone through one steps before, you and I, and that went pretty well. We went through Aikidos today. That went pretty well.
Fantastic.
So I definitely feel like since you coming back and just kind of off training with me and hanging out, it's like the muscle memory has been recharged and re-jumped, because I guess the battery was kind of dormant for a while, and we just said, okay, connect the positive to the negative. Okay, cut it. Hey,
There it goes.
Oh, there it goes.
I thought it was more like, clear.
No. We didn't talk about that. We're talking about automotive.
Resuscitation.
Automotive. Yeah, even a dead battery could use a jump start every now
Every
and then.
once in a while, yeah.
Well, look, man, a shout out to the dungeon here where we're facilitated to
Oh, yeah.
get our training in.
Yeah.
Great place.
And,
Absolutely wonderful place. Great
Yeah,
gym and everything.
another shout out, another thank you to the space, and thank you, Kim, for
Yeah.
hosting us today in the convo.
I'll just leave it with this: with the next generation that are going to be earning black belts. For example, those that are going to be testing for a black belt. Number one, congratulations, you've done a hell of a job. I'm proud of you. But now this is the point where, for some of us that went through it, this is graduation. All that's left is just walk on, to that podium, do what you need to do, grab that diploma, shake the hands, and get out of Dodge. That's it. Just remember that, we're there for you. Do your very best. Never give up, because, at the end of the day, you get a lot of better results with honey than you do with vinegar. And that's what I'm going to say about that. For those that literally just started their voyage, you picked a good one. You picked a good thing to a voyage to go to. And just know that you may not understand it now, but later on in the training, you'll start to see that the pieces are forming the picture bit by bit. And as long as you keep connecting each puzzle piece to build even a bigger image, I promise you it'll be all worth it to the end, until you lay in that final piece and you can see, oh my gosh, this is a puzzle of the Statue of Liberty, and this is all the pieces that I built
Oh, 1,000
to get
pieces.
there. 1,000
Yeah,
pieces.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That takes a lot of time.
That it does.
Appreciate you, brother.
Let's give you guys one last question, and we'll just wrap it up, because I know we're on borrowed time. If Mr. Johnson was here right now and he entered through that door, and I'm not saying that he's here,
I was like, yeah, is it a surprise or
I don't have any pull like that. I mean, Mr. Johnson, I love you, man, but you're probably busy, and we respect that. But if he was walking through that door right now, and you two being no longer young boys, but the men that you are now, what would you say to Mr. Johnson right then and there if he's walking towards you and he's acknowledging you?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I mean, honestly, you got to say thank you. Like, it's, again, you start off a kid, you don't understand everything, but now you understand it. So what he did and stuff like that, he, like pushing hard, you can't do this. Never say can't.
No.
Don't ever say that, because you will do 100 right there.
Automatic.
But it's a process. Like that mindset gets you through a lot of things. Like you get to use it in your everyday life and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So.
Yes, sir. Omar, what would you say to Mr. Johnson right now if he was like literally like 6 inches away from you?
Well, I believe the first and foremost is certainly thank you, based on, who knows on this analogy how long to have an opportunity to spill my heart out. So I would certainly start with thank you. I probably at this point would say I love you, because
I love him too.
impact that he has had continued to come up in my life as a mentor figure, father figure, leader figure, his words of wisdom, his care, all the stuff that he actually taught me. I can remember his knuckles on his hand and the balls of his feet, and there's a certain intimacy also with martial arts, because you put your hands on each other or whatever, and so there's a certain feeling of extreme attraction, love, friendship, and he took us under a wing in a way that I was little different. I'd been baseball team, basketball team, a coach. Okay, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But your martial arts instructor's a little different than your dad, and he's a little different than a coach. And there's something in the middle. He's not quite like a mentor, or guidance counselor. But there's Mr. Smith would even mention how your grades are doing. Like they would take you to the side if your attitude was wrong. You learned physical things, you learned mental things. So there was just a really awesome influence. So if he was in the door, I'd say, thank you, Mr. Johnson. I love you. I'm doing my best to give back. Each one teach one.
Yes, sir.
I would want to bow.
Yes, sir.
And offer a little respect.
Now you said that, dude. I just thought of this, but I don't think there's been a day like something like I play back something from my childhood or teenage years that it hasn't had Mr. Johnson, Amos, or Ton in it. Like something they told me or something that I thinking about, you said it, and I haven't thought about it, so just right then you said anything, I'm like, man, there's always a time where I guarantee you I thought of something, like I'm going through something, Johnson would have said this, or this incorporated to that, and stuff like that. So Eureka to me. I just figured that one out.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, Andrew, your new job that you're getting involved in is mentoring children to a certain degree, and I think that's going to be the same kind of thing. You're going to put your heart into it, and you're going to give all that to them, and then at some point in their life down the road, it'll hit them like, I
That's what he
was
meant.
significantly impacted in a great way by this person, how they didn't give up on me and they fed into me like this. And so it is a beautiful opportunity to recapitulate that.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say that this has been like a real good moment. Subliminally, I wanted this to happen. Like I wanted some kind of reunion of some sorts, especially because not many people of who I train with now actively don't know the actual history of people that I've trained with. You know what I mean? I've trained with Andrew, Omar. I've trained with you. They may not know you, but they know the name. You know what I mean? And it's incredible that I have two of my black belt brothers and my AMAC family members that paved the way for me. I just feel like, in a sense, I'm that first degree black belt all over again, and you guys are the people that I looked up to, just setting that example and just saying, if this is it, if this is what you want to do, this is what you got to do. So, of course, thank you to Mr. Johnson, because he was the one that started it all and, helping me out. But, with instructors like yourself, real, stand-up individuals, y'all meant a lot to me, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I received that, Kim, and I express the same type of feelings towards you. You mean a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Full circle. You're doing the same thing to us now.
Well, each one teach one.
Yeah,
Asian Sensation with the master plan on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Let's go.
And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because, it was a little bit longer than I expected. But, hey, it is what it is. We do what we do. We're having a good time. Real quick, you can find your boy over on Facebook. Just look me up under the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, and I'm going to be there. Yes, I am on social media. You can find me on Twitter, now known as X, and Instagram at my tag name at TKHPC Experience, all in one word, lowercase letters. follow your boy, I will follow you back. Podcasting platforms. We are on many podcasting platforms, from Spotify, Apple Podcast. We have Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and now iHeartRadio. Now do your boy a favor. Like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast on all those podcasting platforms that I mentioned. If you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcast, please give me a 5-star ranking and a positive written review, because the more times that you do that per podcasting platform, then the podcast show itself will be thrown into the front lines. And then people might say, yo, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Yo, I heard about this because Catherine, who lives down over at, West Street in Annapolis, told me you should go ahead and listen to it, subscribe to it, like it, and all that jazz. Yes, please do. I appreciate it. Also, share it on your social media pages, no matter which one that you belong to, because, now the standard is that, for social media pages, you're probably a member of 20 of them at the same time. Guys, there is life, though, outside of, social media. I'm just saying. But, we appreciate that. And make sure that you tell people that in person, the old school way, whether if you want to tell your mom or dad, your sister or brother, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, or the dude next door. Let them know about the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, because sharing is caring. It is brand awareness. You know what I mean? Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest on my show or a guest host, if you have any constructive criticism, if you have any questions from my Q&A form or whatever, email me at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is, write it, and then in the body, just state whatever you need to state. And I will get back with you within 2 days, because I like that kind of communication. And that's it. Thank you so much for being in here. Just do me a favor, guys, and please be safe out there, because life's too short to do dumb stuff. We don't want you to be stuffed in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under. We don't want you to be that way, because you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be happy. You can do anything that you want to if you put your mind into it. And if somebody tries to kick you down and throw shade at you and say you won't succeed and you won't do it, just get up, dust yourself off, walk the other direction, and let them know, you're going to make it happen. I may not have the best lemons, but I'll definitely make the best lemonade for you. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for always loving me, for always supporting me, for always being there and supporting this podcast. I would never do this without the love and support that you guys give. And you know what? I will say this. It's not my podcast. It's your podcast as well. Let's work together and let's make it happen, So for the one time here in the KU Dungeon here in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, this is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power less than an hour, and now the newly crowned, the dude with the right attitude, saying, arigato, I really appreciate it, thank you, I love you, bless your hearts, and we will see you once again over on another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. To all my martial art brothers out there, especially those that are of the AMAC crew, keep on kicking. You know what I mean? Keep your hands up. And remember, patience and training develops character. One love, y'all. I am out the door. Deuces. Peace.